Hi there, I'm Bayo from Archithera, and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to use design options on Autodesk Revit. We'll go through a few slides, so I just explain some key concepts, and then I'll show you a very short tutorial just showing you how to set up your design options and best practices on using design options. Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, so what are design options? Design options are basically a powerful feature in Revit that allow you to test and visualize multiple design scenarios in a Revit model. So without this tool, what would typically happen is that you will make several Revit models just to test the varying options. But with this tool, you can have all those options in the same model, even if they are located in the exact same place. So it is quite advantageous for that reason. So it helps, it enhances your productivity and organization within a design project. Okay. Why use design options? So for efficiency, with design options, you can save, like I previously explained, you can save multiple design options, multiple versions of a design challenge you're trying to figure out in the same project. It provides a simple way for architects and designers to manage and switch between different design scenarios, right? In the same model and in the same location. It doesn't have to be in the same location, but even in the same location in the Revit model, you can switch between different options. Also precision. It provides a platform to compare design options side by side, which makes it more likely that you'll choose the best option possible because you can easily and seamlessly switch between those options. Okay. And this just shows you where the Design Options tool is located on the Revit interface. So it's under the Manage tab, and as you can see it over there. And it's also located at the bottom ribbon of your Revit interface. There's a small icon at the bottom over there. Great. Now navigating the Design Options dialog. So there are two main principles to understand, two main definitions to understand. What are option sets and options? So the option sets is basically a group of options. So for instance, if you had an option set for different roof designs, so I would for instance call that option set roof options. And within the option set you then have options which for instance you'll call hipped roof, flat roof, or gable roof. So well, basically those options are all underneath an option set. You can liken it to basically a Photoshop group where you have maybe you have a part of your image that has people in it, right? And you group all those people in a people group, and you have one for middle-aged guy on bicycle. So basically the option set is a way of managing all those options in a group. Okay, next. So navigating the design options dialog. So over here you can see what I was mentioned previously, the option set. Over here it's roof options. And the options in that option set I have are gable roof, hipped roof, and barrel roof. And on the right here you can see to make a new option set, you push that button. To rename an option set, that button, and accept primary option, and you can delete an option set as well. And you make a new option to make a primary option, to rename an option, to duplicate an option, and to delete an option. But all this will be more clear in the next part of the tutorial. Great. And the best practices for using Revit Design Options. So design options are great for streamlining your workflow, but only if they're used correctly. So the first thing is naming. Make sure you name your option sets and the individual options in the option set with unique names that help you tell them apart. If you have, for instance, an option set that contains 20 options and the names are not very clear, it can cause confusion in your project team, and also confusion for yourself down the line if you come back in a week's time to work on the same project and you don't know what's going on. So to be efficient in using design options, you need to make sure you name them correctly. Also, when you're done with an option set and you've finalized that option set, do not keep it in your model. Make sure you accept the primary option, so everyone can know what the finalized option is. And also, when you're moving on from a project, if you work in an office where projects are recurring, maybe you're done with a project, and 2 years time the client asks you to do some more alterations. If, say, you've left the office, or even if in 2 years time you have to work on the same thing, you need to be sure of what the final model is. So you need to make sure you clean your option sets out. Do not leave finalized options in your model for model size, to reduce the model size, and also just for general clarity. Okay, great. Hello. In this second part of this tutorial, I'll be showing you a practical application of design options using this little shed you see on my screen. Okay, in this section, I'll show you the location of the design options tool, how to create an option set, show you how to create design options within an option set, show you how to accept the primary option, and also show you how to toggle between the options in a view. Okay, so as seen in the slides, you can open the design options dialog at the bottom ribbon, or if you go to the Manage tab at this design options button. Okay, so to create a design option, I'm just going to go to that icon over here, and you can see this is the dialog, design options dialog, that helps you manage all your design options. So to make a new option set, we go hit new, and then to rename it, you click on that line on top of the set saying option set 1. You rename it, and I'm just going to call it roof options. And because the intention of this tutorial is to make different options, different roof options for this shed, because our client wants a different kind of roof. Okay, so I'm just going to rename the first option set. It always comes, every option set always comes with an option by default. So to rename that option set, you go rename, and then I'm going to say option 1 hipped roof. You say okay. I'm going to create 2 other options. I'll say new, I'll rename it, so option 2 underscore flat roof. Okay, and as you can see, because I've got 1 there and 2, it arranges them with those numbers. So you could use that naming system as well, just to help you arrange the options in a sequential manner. Okay, so then I'm going to make another one, and I'll just call that option 3 underscore barrel roof. Okay, so now we've got 3 options within our option set, which is called roof options. So now I'm just going to hit close. And when you come over here to to this drop down beside the design options icon, you can see here the option set has been created. Notice what happens when you go into an option. When you go into an option, the main model, the elements in the main model get grayed out, and also you can't click on them. So the only time you can then click on the elements in the main model is if you go to this icon over here and you untick it, that says active only, you untick it, and then that allows you to then touch the elements in the main model. But by default, this is always ticked, so you would not be able to interact with the elements in the main model. Okay, so let's say we now want to create those options, those roof options I mentioned. All we have to do is select elements within the model. I just want the roof elements. I don't want any of the columns. I just want all these battens and rafters to move into the option. So just make sure you select them. Even if you don't select all of them, you can still come back and transfer it into the option. So let us just select all of that quick. It's going to get as much as I can. Okay. And that, I think I got everything. So now to transfer it into this roof elements. Oh, I missed this fascia over here. Just gonna get that. Okay, I also missed that. Okay, let's say we've selected everything. So now to transfer into the option, I go back to the Manage tab, and other design options, you can see there's an icon here called Add to Set. You click on Add to Set, and this window comes up and it asks you, basically asking you, what option do you want to add the selection to? So because it's the hipped roof option, I'm just going to untick the rest and then say OK. Now when I've said OK, you will notice that I can no longer select these roof elements. You see here, they're all gone. So this one is not, because I didn't select it previously. So I can still go back to Manage and to Add to Set, and then untick the rest and leave it in option 1, and now it's in there as well. So now when I go into the main model, and when I go into the hip roof option, you can now see that I can interact with that option and with the elements within the option. And when I go to option 2, you'll notice that there's nothing. You can see that roof elements are all gone, apart from this one, which I did not add to the option set. So what I'm going to do for that is to take it, and I can then cut, and I can go back into option 1 and modify, and then say paste, align to same place. So that's also an option. If you want to cut, if you want to place elements in an option, you can actually just cut them and paste them into the option, but I recommend using the Add to Set icon. Okay. In some cases, if you use the cut paste, you might lose relationship between elements. Yeah, so just use that Add to Set. It's the best option. Okay, so now we've got elements in option 1, which is the hip roof option. And let's say now we want to create our flat roof in the flat roof option. So all I have to go is just go into the option and go to the required level, and I just have to draw a roof architecture. I'll go to roof and just draw the outline of the roof and say OK, and then you can look at my 3D view and you can see my roof is placed, but I just want to align it using the align tool, AL shortcut, and then tab select till I get the top of that. No, I want to align it to this line, so I'm going to tab AL. I'm just going to tab till I get that edge, and then I'll align it over there. Well, obviously this is not structurally sound, but this is just for the concept of options. So I'm just going to go back to hip roof. You can see that option is there. And if I go to flat roof, now there's another option. Okay, and we can also then go ahead and create the last option just for some more added information. I'm just going to create a reference plane in this plan that's going to allow me to draw the barrel. So I'm just going to make that barrel plane, and then I'll draw a section, view section, and then let's go to that view, and within this option I'm going to go to architecture, roof by extrusion, and then select the plane for the roof, which is the barrel plane I drew, and then yes, that level is fine, and then just draw my vault shape and say okay, and then look in my 3D view, and as you can see the roof shape is there. And now we've got 3 different kinds of roof options in this roof options option set. The other thing you can do, if you go back into the design options, just go back to the main model. If I go into design options, so you want to duplicate one of the roof options to make some modifications to it. I'm going to select this option 3 and go to the duplicate button, and then I'll rename it. And just to differentiate between the other one, I can say something like longer, because I want to make this option longer, and I'll just make this option 4 and say okay, and then close. And then I go into option 4 here, and then if I modify it, I made it longer, and I go back into the third one, and you can see the different lengths now. Okay, so now let me show you how to, even if an option is not the main option, the primary option, as you can see the hip roof is the primary option because it's got that primary, the word primary in front of it in the brackets. But if you want to change it in your view and set a different option as the option to be shown, you use your visibility graphics on the view, visibility graphics, and you go to design options, and let's say I wanted the barrel roof to be the primary option, not the primary option, to be the option that shows in the view. I just select that and say okay, and now it will get shown in my view. But remember that it is only for this view. Okay, and now let's say you want to accept you've made a decision and this is the option you would like to make the primary, and then accept that primary option. We can then go to, let's say this is the one we like. We can make it the primary option. Okay. And now that's primary option. So if I close and I go back into the visibility graphics, VV, and I go to design options, and I say automatic, as you can see, this barrel is now the primary option. It's because it's received that. So by default, in all your views, it will now be the primary option. And if we're happy with this primary option now, and we wanted to delete the rest, we can just go to the option set and say accept primary. And when we click on this line over here, it says integrate the selected design option to the model, delete all secondary options and the design option set. So when I accept primary and I close, that barrel is now back in the main model. Okay, that's about it. Thank you.